Hello, Kansas cross-country coaches. Kyle Doboralski with the association office here in Topeka, and I'm happy to be joined by Jeffrey Onken of MileSplit. Jeffrey lives in Austin, Texas, and he is one of the MileSplit contacts for us. And we wanted to take a few minutes and talk about registration as regionals are coming, but then also more of what MileSplit has to offer for our participants and you as coaches in this state. So, Jeffrey, thanks for your time, and let's just get right into it. As we talked about, regionals are coming up. Could you do a quick 1 or 2 minute demo on just what that registration process looks like?
Yeah, absolutely, Kyle. Thank you for the introduction, and we'll jump right into it. So registering for a cross-country regional is a relatively simple process. There are a couple of key requirements that need to be in place before you will be able to register for the meet. Number one, you need to have a free MileSplit account. You will be prompted when creating an account for a free version and a paid subscription. As far as cross-country coaches are concerned, and everything included in our registration platform, all you will ever need is a free account. Once you have a free account set up, you will need to claim your team, and you can do so by clicking on this Teams tab right here at the top of your screen and going to your specific team page. For the sake of time, we're going to assume that you have already created a free account and claimed your team. If you have questions about those, you can find support videos at support.milesplit.com. And we have video walkthroughs that will guide you through the process of all of those steps. But to start things off, first and foremost, you're going to want to go to ks.milesplit.com. This is the Kansas specific MileSplit and differs from www.milesplit.com. I point that out specifically because you will not find the Kansas meets you are looking for on the national webpage. Those are dedicated to meets that are taking place across borders. So kids coming from, Washington down to Texas or New York to California and national meets of that sort. So once we're on kansasmilesplit.com, it's as simple as coming to this calendar tab right here to find the meet that you need to register for. We click on the calendar and you'll see a list of every meet we've got on our calendar for the current season in order by date. To make things easy for you, we have a search bar at the top, and I always recommend using this if you are aware of the name of the meet. For the sake of this demonstration, we're using a regional test meet. So you are going to be able to search for the regional by typing in KSHSAA, and you will see all of the regional meets once they have been officially made public, as well as the state championships this week, or this season, my apologies. So you can go ahead and click right here on the name of the meet that you need to register for. On the page it takes you to, if there's meet information that needs to be known either by coaches or parents or spectators, it'll be located on this front page here. If you are a coach and you are ready to register, you will simply click the green Register Online Now button. If registration is not open, that button will simply be yellow and listed as registration open soon. In the bottom right corner here, you'll see the next button. Since these meets are only open to schools, there's no action you need on this first step of registration. Simply click the next button and choose your team from the list. Most of you will only have a single team listed under here. I have access to many teams as a MileSplit employee, but typically you'll have your high school. If you also manage your middle school account, you might see that listed there as well. But you'll simply click on which school you need to register, specifically for the regional meets, your high school team. You'll click the next button once again, and here's where you select the contacts for this meet. By default, the account that is registering is going to be listed as the primary contact. You'll see listed below here a bunch of other names, and these are coaches that have also claimed and been approved as official coaches for your high school. You can simply add as many or as few of these coaches as you want. The only requirement is that a single account is listed as a contact. It will not let you advance if not. And every coach that is listed as a contact is going to receive any email communication that is sent out specifically for this meet from within MileSplit. So if there's potential weather delays or anything of that sort, everybody listed here will get that information if it's sent specifically through MileSplit. Once you're settled on the contacts for the meet, you'll click next, and you'll be prompted to choose the divisions that you will be competing in. If we are bringing boys and girls to this meet, you'll highlight both of them and select next. On the final step of registration, you will see the events listed. In cross country, it's nice and orderly because there are much fewer events, obviously, than there are in the track and field season. When I'm ready to register my varsity girls, I will come here and click on this add entry button you see listed to the right of the event name. Clicking this will pull up a list of all athletes that are all female athletes that are listed on your team's roster as active cross-country participants. The only thing you need to do at this point is highlight the checkbox next to each individual that will be competing in the regional meet. You can also search for an athlete by typing in this top box. If you have a rather large roster, this will help you kind of shift through the names a little bit faster. Otherwise, you can just scroll through. They're listed alphabetically by last name and select the athletes that you are planning on running. After this is completed, you simply click this save and return to event list. It will save those changes. And then you can rinse and repeat for the boys. Add entries, come down to my roster. I'm going to select these athletes that I will be running at the meet, click save again, and now you are done. You can see on the right-hand side, there are some reports you can download. Your invoice of pricing is included for the regional meets. Those will not be. You can download, print out confirmation of your entire entry list of your boys, of your girls, as well as a breakdown per athlete, which is more used in track and field than it would be in cross country since we're dealing with very limited events. Clicking this done button is not required. The only time you ever actually have to click save is when you're adding or editing entries. But if you click done here, you will reach a final confirmation page with links to go back to the meet page, reminder of when the meet is, when registration closes, and more options to download those reports that we've added or that we discussed in the last step. At this point, you are fully registered. You have up until the registration window closes to edit these entries. And otherwise, you're ready for race day and ready for your kids to compete.
All right, thanks, Jeffrey. That was a great walkthrough on the registration for MileSplit. And as many of you are aware, we as an association partnered with MileSplit prior to outdoor track and field season last year. And a couple other additional questions for Jeffrey, which I'm the most excited about. Many of you had seen that registration because of outdoor track and field, but this is maybe the newer part of this video. Jeffrey, what are the benefits to using MileSplit registration?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, the benefits are directly related to the schools and more importantly to the coaches. Our main focus at MileSplit is to save you time and money. We believe that coaches have far too many responsibilities, as you are all aware, between teaching, coaching, and having a home life and a family or hobbies, whatever you'd like to do. We want to give you more time to do that. By offering things such as helping coaches build meets if they reach out to our support team, by adding athletes automatically to the roster if they're included on results from earlier in the season. We are saving small little tedious tasks throughout the course of the season that can help accommodate you and allow you to get back to the things that you are required to do. I had mentioned money and before the demonstration, I had also touched on our free account versus a paid subscription. We believe that registration is a tool that is required to compete in the sport. And we don't believe anybody should have an advantage because their school has more funds than another school. So we offer our registration completely free of charge, as well as posting results, viewing results, and viewing meet recaps or pre-meet summaries. We want to have those as tools to utilize for coaches that offer no advantage based on the amount of money a particular school may have. So as long as you have a free account, you have full access to all features within our registration system. And that has always been the case and always will be the case. The other major benefit to using MileSplit registration is content coverage. MileSplit takes a very boots on the ground approach. We have editors in every state we have a relationship with that live within the state and have their finger on the pulse of local track and field and cross country. These editors are able to use and view and use registration data if it is taking place on our site to see how big a meet is, how high a caliber the competitors are. Maybe you've got 2 kids that are running in the top 5 of a particular event. This allows our lead editor and the content team that he's got beneath them to go to different areas of the state to cover high profile meets that otherwise we might not be aware of, right? So the data is an integral part to our content and coverage. It allows us to see where we need to be to highlight your athletes, your children, your students, and give them the focus and the spotlight that they deserve.
Yeah, and let's hone in on the content just a little bit. So everything from written pieces to photography as well as a part of the MileSplit ecosystem in terms of content. Okay, so let's last question here for you, Jeffrey. How does using MileSplit registration impact postseason registration?
Great question, Kyle. So using registration during the regular season is extremely beneficial to the postseason. And this is because we are creating consistency across the state. If every athlete has been registered throughout the course of a regular season, this ensures that every athlete that could potentially compete in the postseason has been added and is already in the MileSplit database on the roster for a particular team. It also gives us the ability to ensure that all of the performances a particular athlete has competed in or achieved throughout the course of a season are attached to that specific athlete's profile. That way, when we go to register for the state meet, or the regional meets, as we demonstrated in the demo at the top of the call, that all of those athletes are already there and their best seed times and seed marks are already in the system. This eliminates the additional work for coaches of having to add more kids to their roster in order to register them for the postseason meets. It eliminates the need to track down results that weren't in the system and send those in. We're able to ensure that everybody is fully loaded and ready to go come postseason to make the registration process as simple and as seamless and as quick as we demonstrated earlier. The more of that data and the more consistency we have, the easier it is for the coaches, for the student athletes, for the state association, everybody involved with the entire postseason process. And it allows those postseasons to operate much more seamlessly, especially when we start getting into the advancement of athletes on qualifying teams or individual qualifiers into the state meet.
All right, Jeffrey, thank you so much for your time and your work with MileSplit in the state of Kansas cross country and track and field.
Of course, it's been a delight. Thank you very much.